Howdy, folks. Quick video here to talk about independent clause commas. This is our first comma rule that we're going to explore this unit. So the first thing we need to talk about, if we're going to talk about connecting independent clauses, we need to know what an independent clause is or be reminded of what one is. So an independent clause is a group of words that has a subject and a verb. That's it. That's the only requirement for an independent clause. So I've got an example right here. I like turtles. I is my subject, like is my verb, and this makes it a clause. But what makes it an independent clause is that it can stand on its own as a full thought, right? I could say, I like turtles, period. End of story. People would get what I'm saying. It works as a full sentence. Compare that to a dependent clause. This is still a clause. It has a subject and a verb, but it can't stand on its own because I have this word in front of it saying, when I see turtles. Begging the question, well, what do you do when you see turtles? Well, I get really excited. But this couldn't stand on its own. I'd have to connect this idea, when I see turtles, to an independent clause in order for it to make sense. This will be what we'll talk about in our rule number 2. So to connect two independent clauses, we have to use a comma and a coordinating conjunction, or you could just call them a conjunction. And I learned to remember the coordinating conjunctions by the acronym FANBOYS, and that refers to for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So these 7 words are our conjunctions, or coordinating conjunctions, because they just bring two ideas together. That's it. And when we're bringing two clauses, independent clauses together, I need to use a comma and a coordinating conjunction. So that's where our comma rule comes into play. So there's actually types of sentences that we're going to learn to identify as well to help us use these commas correctly. So the first type of sentence we're going to learn about is a simple sentence. This is a sentence that only has one subject and one verb. No commas are needed in simple sentences, at least as far as we know yet. So Mr. Restad drank coffee. Full thought, full sentence, works. I can put a period at the end of it, and I've got my subject and my verb. Got it. The students also drank coffee. Boom. Easy, simple sentence. The students is my subject. Drank is my verb. Easy. Here's where it gets a little more complicated. Everyone drank coffee and had a good time drinking their delicious coffee at school on Wednesday. One subject, right? But 2 verbs. So everyone drank and everyone had a good time drinking their coffee. Got my verb phrase there. So a lot of people would try to put a comma in there, but I don't need it. I only have one subject, so that means I don't need to split things up with a comma and a conjunction. I just need the conjunction here to connect my 2 verbs. That's all this conjunction is doing. It's not connecting 2 independent clauses, so no comma. Compare that to this one. Mr. Restad drank coffee, comma, and the students drank coffee. Mr. Restad drank, the students drank coffee. That's where I would be using my comma rule and my coordinating conjunction. It needs both. It can't just be the comma, can't just be the coordinating conjunction. In fact, you've probably heard this term before, is connecting 2 independent clauses with only a comma is a grammatical no-no, right? I have 2 independent clauses here. I need a comma and a coordinating conjunction. So commas are weak. They need a little bit more strength to help them connect these 2 sentences into one coherent thought. So this would be incorrect, and it would be called a comma splice is the common term for this when it's happening. So let's practice really quick. In my recurring subject, where that comma go, or where the comma go, and what kind of sentence is this? So John Cena is a boss, but I think I'm going to die of laughter by looking at his face. So you guys pause, try to figure out what the comma is, and hopefully you realize that John Cena is a boss is an independent sentence. I think I'm going to die of laughter by looking at his face is an independent clause. So I would need a comma and then this coordinating conjunction, but. So this would be, comma would go here, and it would be a compound sentence, right? Compound sentence is anything that has more than one independent clause, basically 2 independent clauses. How about this next one? I just love the feeling of eating a big meal and taking a long shower after a hike. 2 things that I do love to do. So here, again, pause, test yourself. And what we have is a simple sentence. but it just has a lot of words, but it's still a simple sentence. Because what am I doing? I love, and what do I love? The feeling of eating a big meal and taking a long shower. So my simple sentence, if I boil it down, is just I just love. And then the two things that I'm hooking together are what I love. They're kind of the object of my love and my affection. But it's not two separate sentences, right? And taking a long shower after a hike, that's not an independent clause, so it can't stand by itself. So no comma is needed here. All right. So in a quick review, here's what I want you to be able to recognize and identify. I need you to know what a comma is, or what a clause is. Hopefully you know what a comma is. What an independent clause is. What a coordinating conjunction is. These two types of sentences, simple and compound. And I also want you to be able to know what I mean when I say comma splice. So make sure you have these things in your notes. Do your own summaries and paraphrases of them. Good luck.